The following is the 7th grade lesson for the 13th of January 2017. So, looking a little bit more into poetry. Alright. Started off class by reading the Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. This is the last 3 lines of that poem. You might recognize it. 2 roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. As you can see, the 2 girls are walking on a path that actually is diverging in the woods. It's going in 2 different directions. Okay? The whole point of that is the author's trying to tell the reader, don't always follow the path that everyone else takes, that you know where it's going to go. It's okay to take some risks. Alright? So, after that, had the students kind of go through a vocabulary list, see which words that they recognized. Here are the definitions of all of those words. These are words that we're going to be using during our poetry reads over the next several weeks. And then I read to them the Myth of Aengus. Aengus is the Irish god of love. So go ahead and pause this screen so that way you can read it, as well as the next one, because it is rather a long myth. But basically he is known for basically falling in love with somebody in a dream. And his family spends years trying to find the girl, and finally he finds her, but in order to finally get her, he has to turn into a swan. So that whole myth is right there for you. Okay? And that's actually a picture of Ireland. Those are called fairy circles in the ground. They actually do exist. And there's a myth behind them as well. The Irish do love their myths, and they're wonderful to read if you're ever curious enough to Google it. Alright, so we used our textbook, so you'll need the online textbook in order to follow this lesson plan. Okay? Make sure on ePassport you go under Other Tools, you click on ELA, and then you click on the Collections book and find grade 7 for this class. Okay? But page 71, we read about the author of the poem, which is W.B. Yeats. And we read the poem called The Song of the Wandering Aengus on page 72. Alright. For class today, we also kind of discussed common misconceptions about poetry. So, is it boring? Is it sappy? Is it irrelevant? And how it might be something every middle school teen should look into. A few ways that we covered were it's a way to communicate your feelings and your emotions. It's a way to kind of sort out your problems and kind of understand the world around you. Then when we finished that, we went back through Aengus and tried to find some figurative language. And then we looked at a few other things. Looked at rhyme, diction, and sensory details. And that concludes the lesson of the day.